Italiano. Word of the day for today, 24 January 2025, is Congresso, which translates to English as conference. And a conference is a group of people that get together and with the intent, with a shared mission and or to confer something. So it can be a conference of conference. Ha ha ha. And so I have attended a number of, conferences can be a bit different. Sometimes there's a conference call in a work setting where a bunch of people might be on the same call together. And so it's a bunch of people coming in to speak about a certain topic. There's the big deal, the conferences that I've presented at, and like astrophysics, geophysics, that kind of thing, or just, and that can have different formats of presentation and can have peer-reviewed journal publications that come out corresponding to that from my own personal experience of what I have done. And so those are kind of, it's a broad concept and broad format, and it means different things in different settings, and the formats can vary by industry or even just setting. Right, like is it a conference call? Am I out in the backyard conferring Hillary Rodham Clinton? Well, not me, the squirrels confirming, the squirrel conference of confirming Hillary Rodham Clinton as their vice presidential nominee. So so it can take on different forms. Right. So I was like, okay. So then thinking that through, is me getting laid for my papaya by all the Seattle Seahawks of African descent a conference or conference? Does it all happen in one place? The locker room, Russell's house. So I have a soulmate named Russell Wilson. If I have a soulmate named Russell Wilson, and there's like, but maybe there needs to be a conference on the papaya from the African descent Seattle Seahawks. Is that so? A conference is a gathering. You have people coming together. So in that sense, was like, okay, is that in the locker room? Is that in his house? Am I the lucky lady who is Russell's one and only slave? I'm his only slave. I'm his only slave. I'm his only slave. Does he eat? No. Does his eel need its home in my cave in the locker room? Does he open me up for sharing? As a reminder, I am an asexual, sexual orientation of asexual. This kind of question I thought would be good to put out there before potential escalation of in-person physical interaction. Right, so like that might be a given for certain people, or maybe like that's just like heterosexuals. That's just like impulse, like what they do. And I'm like, oh, I'm asexual. I got questions, right? So there we go. So I was like, well, there's one, right? Like it becomes a conference of Russell being like, here's my slave, my Euro Native American slave. He is of pure 100% African ancestry by origins, by the way. My Russell Wilson. Is that the OG and the nil? Are they twins, or are they two of triplets? All right, now let's go with conference, as in like the General Assembly of conferring something. So like that kind of is the conference that comes together to confer. Conference conference. Okay, so let's go with stuff that's one thing that's already happened, and then something looking forward. General Assembly of conference of me being clumsy when I tripped on grass, fell, and bumped into a sliding glass door, knocking it off its track in front of a group of people when I was living in South Africa in the first half of 2012. I was skilled. I didn't have any shoes on. I was running on the grass, and it went boom. And I'm like, I tripped and went boom, and my shoulder dislodged a sliding glass door from his truck, and I was in front of a group of people, and they were like, clumsy is the right adjective, I think, or descriptor for that. I've gotten better at it, but there was, I got a bunch of cuts and stuff growing up, and it'd always be like, Tanis, how are you so dirty? Tanis, where did that come from? Right? So it was kind of, it's a lifelong trait that I have actually managed to improve over the past like maybe 2 or 3 years, but yeah, it's me. Okay, and then and that has been conferred in front of other people, like I have a history of falling in with consequences, that and the head injury, if nothing else. Okay. All right, and then extending forwards. So for the conference thing, extending forwards for my second YouTube channel, do I, Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle, do I get a conference of my mantra for the channel? This one's for Richard Feynman. Okay. Yeah. And then for that channel, does Lindsay Sterling become the first person I name as my blood sibling on my second channel? Does my audience constitute a conference of yes? That's right. It's a professional channel, so bringing up a family, including blood family, would be a kind of a, it's not my main channel, which is everything, right? So it'd be kind of, thus far, I gave a talk back in 2016 where my parents came, right? So then you can think of that as, I do a video about that talk on that second channel. It'd be relevant to bring up mom and dad, right? But for the most part, you know, there'd be like an ask, but if people don't want to be included in my YouTubing stuff, well then definitely not include them on my second channel, which is about my research in science and mathematics, right? So then, does Lindsay Sterling get that blood sibling naming first, whether she is my sibling or not? That might be good. I introduced some diversity. There we go. Yeah, so conference, can think of it as a conferring and bringing together of people, of individuals, because I've done it with squirrels in the past. So there we go. So in English as conference or conference, in Italiano as Congresso. Thank you for joining me.